P3 is good. Same thing for Paul Tracy. But I think the fronts will all come in. The leaders will get at least to lap 34. That'll help you. Every lap counts. Here's the fuel that Jack was talking about. That is going to be the limiting factor as he gets out, as Lloyd comes in.
Leading the battle on the racetrack now between Andretti and Sato.
And we're going to really want to see where Marco cycles back with Paul Tracy, because Marco stayed out, and this is when Marco's got to really lay it down. We're looking at Danica in for her stop.
She's going for brand new reds. She has a brand new sticker set of red tires that she's going with. Remember, she was one of the few that started on the black, but they have a problem. They had to go back up again.
Wow, a very slow pit stop. 12.7 seconds
you
for
saw
Danica.
the air jack guy pull out, and then he had to go back in, so they had to snug up a wheel nut or something.
Ryan Hunter-Reay is laid out. Here he comes, along with E.J. Viso, who was running in 7th spot.
Justin Wilson.
Stay on board with Wilson.
Hit your marks, plug it in.
EJ's away.
Yeah.
And now Justin will go back out on the racetrack.
Hunter-Reay, there's Wilson. You got Viso, and then there's Wilson behind him. So as we saw everybody shuffling out, we saw Viso go out in the set screen while Wilson was still in the box.
So here come the leaders.
And here is Will Power, his first stop of the day, hitting his marks perfectly. You can see they took off the red tires and put on the black. That crew led by Billy Vincent, they needed a flawless pit stop. It looks like they got it. By the way, guys, they told him in that first stint his fuel numbers were perfect.
Kind of is an indication of how his season is going, isn't it? Now,
Did you hear him have that thing lit up as he was just waiting there, just against that rev limiter? As soon as they dropped him, off he went.
Now, Ryan Briscoe has pitted. Elio also. Go back to Sato, Tracy, and the 2 Ganassi cars.
So here comes the duo. Here comes the Target Ganassi duo. That helps you as Tony Kanaan gets service as well. So they have done an extra lap. That helps later on.
But they were held up a little bit maybe by Tracy as a balance.
The Ganassi boys in at the same time. Dario Franchitti, they're taking off the reds, putting on the black, same as Will Power and same as Scott Dixon. Scott Dixon gets out first and Dario Franchitti makes it out right after.
And you can see how tight of a squeeze that is. You're holding a rear tire. You're trying to stay just as thin as I can and let him thread the needle.
Visually, it looked like Dixon had a great stop.
Looked like Dixon may not have taken a full load of fuel. That's what Jack was saying before. But I think you'd want to save that till your second stop. What helps you when you pit later, really, it pays dividends the next time you pit because you need less fuel.
So that means less time to plug in.
What I love here is the threading of the needle between the two. Now let's see if there's any sort of motion or time. No, they wait. They waited for the fuel. So that looks like that was a full fill. It was just very well done.
Well done.
Well, Will Power has gone back to the front, and his advantage now over Elio is almost 2 seconds, 1.6. Briscoe running 3rd, then Dixon and Franchitti 4th and 5th. Simona Di Silvestro 6th. Ryan Hunter-Reay, Justin Wilson, E.J. Viso, and Marco Andretti are the top 10, and Wilson has what, spun?
Definitely slow wide on the course there. Looks like he's got some issues, guys, because it's not as though he spun. He's back up to speed here.
He's got damage.
Well, once again, a big disappointment. Last week, of course, he led the most laps and had dirty tires and got passed on the restart.
There's damage on the front of Marco Andretti's front wing also. And Justin's car just looks like one corner's down. Yeah, it just looks...
It looks like it's something in the right rear because the left front is up. But the tire didn't look flat. It looked like it was suspension, you know, because we didn't see the tire being flat.
And we just got that picture of Marco Andretti's front wing askew as well.
And do you see where Marco is relative to Paul Tracy? There's 2 cars behind Marco, so Paul Tracy is back in 12th. Marco's in 9th, so it just shows you who won that pit stop battle between those 2 guys. That goes to Marco.
Power continues to dominate things here at Edmonton as Justin Wilson has come in for a pit stop, and something serious. It could be terminal. Danica Patrick off course here at Edmonton. Long period of time in the grass before she got back on the racetrack.
Probably didn't damage her race car, but she took in enough grass into the radiator probably that she still needs to get down pit road. Let's see what happened.
Oh, goes to the inside of Baguette, and whoa, I don't think I have room after all. And then you're out trying to find the straightest path that you can back to the racetrack. It just happens to be a really long distance.
Like I say, they'll definitely be watching the telemetry back in the pits right now just to monitor the oil temperature, water temperature, just with picking up all that grass.
Well, Jack kept talking about how you don't have many caution periods when you have a track this big and wide. You can see why. How far off was the off the racetrack was she, but you still have all that grass to drive across. No harm, no foul.
Will Power with a 2.5-second advantage on Elio Castroneves. Now, again, as Libby pointed out in the pre-race show, if Will Power emerges today with a 106-point advantage on second place, he will clinch the Mario Andretti Trophy for Road Course Championship with 2 races to go. Mid-Ohio next week, and then a couple of weeks, and then we will, of course, end the road course season at Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California.
And that's a big exclamation point, the fact that he could clinch that with still 2 more road courses. I mean, that's taking it home there.
And the other question is, if he continues on this pace, is he going to clinch the overall championship well ahead of Homestead Miami? Robbie, what's the problem with Justin?
Unfortunate circumstances for Justin Wilson. Evidently what happened earlier happened again as he's pulling back into the pits. Just a minute ago, the right rear broke. He said something's wrong, didn't know what. The team didn't know what. They pulled off the cowling, and take a look at this. This is the top part, or the bottom part, whichever, of the shock. There's where it's supposed to attach onto the dampening rod. The rod goes in the middle. It just broke the rod. So he comes back in again now, and they're saying it happened again. This time they're looking at the left rear. That just shows you how demanding, how tough, how rough this Edmonton course is.
And we just saw that universal sign from Justin that something wasn't right in the rear end. When something isn't right in the rear end and you go for the brakes, you get spun around there.
That's the car just
under straight line braking right there.
Just totally gets out. It's like you lose one of the corners, almost like a wheel coming off.
On board with him. Let's see, he's going into turn 10, braking right now.
Drag.
Yeah, you could hear just something dragging as he went to the brake pedal.
Quite a ride, huh?
Yeah. Did a nice job of keeping it running.
You know, as we get through this race, you know, we talk about how physical it is on the drivers. Well, that same thing is happening to these race cars. So there could be some more attrition just with regards of the pounding they do on the cars, but just the sheer bumpiness of the racetrack and transitioning from runways.
On board with Ryan Hunter-Reay, who has gotten around Simona Di Silvestro. Ryan Hunter-Reay now is in 6th spot. Trying to make sure that Power doesn't clinch the road course championship this weekend. Here's how it happened.
Same place we've seen before, Robbie.
Yep, good run off of turn 9, come to the braking zone. I got the inside. You can't turn in till I get by you.
Just about all the passing we've seen today has been there.
He doesn't want Will Power to clinch this championship with 2 to go. He wants to keep moving himself up, and he is now the lead driver in the Andretti stable, moving his way forward.
Ryan has really gelled this year in terms of showing his ability on the road courses. He's been exceptionally fast. pretty much on all the road courses this year. Done a great job.
He has 4 consecutive top 10 finishes.